isn't a job. $15, little man, put that ish.
Harmony Court Island, it's the place to be, a pirate's paradise that everyone should see. It's a land of music treasure, filled with happy song.
Forest bells ring sweetly, and the birds are playing on.
Harmony Court Island, it's the place to be. If you listen closely, it's playing for you and me. It's playing for you and me. Golly fish, golly! Harmony Court Island be back in tune! Yippee! Thank you, Captain Mickey, for all your help. And Little Goofer, me boy, thank you most of all for being...
This is worse than before!
Shiver me timber and timbers! Abandon ship! Head for the Xylophone Hills! Ahoy, mates! Here be the map to me treasure. Finally! Hey, this isn't any kind of treasure map I've ever seen. Where's the treasure supposed to be? Where's the X that marks the spot? Well, before we can find the X, we have to find two musical instruments. A ukulele in the strum-string jungle, and bongo drums in the bamboo forest. When we play the ukulele and the bongos together...
Government dependent on the people, which Madison promised meant not the rich more than the poor, has been betrayed by these politicians. And it is time that we, citizens, not politicians, fight to get it back. My name is Larry Lessig. I am a father, as you can see, and a husband, and a teacher, and a sometimes lawyer. And with the support of my incredible family, my wife, Bettina Neuefeind, and my 3 children, Willem, Theo, and Tess, I am here at the place where Bill Clinton made his promise with Newt Gingrich to the American people. I am here to announce my candidacy for the president. A candidacy that would be different. A candidacy that's focused on the single purpose of getting our democracy back. A candidacy makes a single promise, that I will rally America to build a mandate strong enough to force that Congress to give us a democracy. A mandate so clear that even that Congress could understand it. And after they pass that mandate and start us down the road to a democracy, I would step aside. We will get one change, the fundamental change that will make every other change possible on day one. And then the next great president, whether that's Hillary or Bernie or someone else, will finally have a chance to lead. And after 8,000 citizens raised more than $1 million in less than a month, I will make you this promise. I will give every ounce of my energy and my soul to wage a campaign that will rally America, not just Democrats or Republicans, but all citizens, to this fundamental American idea that in a democracy, all have the right to be equal citizens. Not because that's a pretty idea, not because campaigns should be fought for moral notions alone, but because the only way we can restore this democracy is if we restore this fundamental principle. Only if we do this do we have a chance to solve the problems that hold America back. My friends Tom Mann and Norm Ornstein write that this country, quote, is squandering its economic future and putting itself at risk because of an inability to govern effectively. We cannot afford that waste anymore. And this campaign, my campaign, our campaign, will be the first in the history of America since the Revolution committed exclusively to the idea of establishing a representative democracy. The first campaign to put all of its chips on this single fundamental purpose, to get us a democracy finally. Now that's... Now, that is not to say this is the first time Americans have fought for democracy. Soldiers in America volunteered to defend our democracy with their life. They go to the field with a backpack.
What's the matter with that guy? Goodness, what did I do? Uh-oh, I gotta get out of here.
Is a nonpartisan head of state who represents the country and the people as a whole in Israel and around the world. Among the president's tasks are strengthening mutual commitment among the citizens of Israel, social cohesion and national pride, ties between Israel and the diaspora, nurturing moral values, equality and peace throughout society, improving ties between the Jewish majority and the minority populations, and encouraging Israeli culture and creativity. The president's duties and powers include signing laws, signing treaties with foreign countries approved by the Knesset, credentialing the state's consular delegates, appointing or removing judges and other judicial officials, and pardoning convicted offenders, to name a few. So, who exactly is Reuven Rivlin? Here are 5 interesting things to know about our new president of Israel. Number 1, he does not believe in a two-state solution. Rivlin opposes the establishment of a Palestinian state, opting for a binational state instead, meaning the status quo. Number 2, he will be Israel's first vegetarian president. Rivlin has eschewed meat products for reasons of conscience since the late 1960s. Number 3, he was a victim of political pieing in 2001. While serving as a communications minister, Rivlin had a cream pie hurled at his face by a young female activist. Number 4, he's particularly concerned with the sensitivities of Israeli Arabs. Many times, Rivlin fought for equal rights for Arabs in the job market as well as service in the IDF. He even suggested establishing a separate Arab National Service infrastructure to allow young Arab citizens to serve in their own communities. And number 5, he's known as a pretty funny guy. Rivlin is often described as having a quirky sense of humor. When in 2013, Rivlin was ousted from his role as the Knesset Speaker, he said, and I quote, "I got to hear my eulogies while I was still alive." May the Lord grant our newly elected president wisdom. May he empower him to be an honest, loving, kind, and just person for all the people in Israel. And may he represent our nation to the world with honor and dignity.
ולתפארת מדינת ישראל.
enchanted spring, loveliest time of the year. Oh, let us away to skip and play, for the spirit of spring is here. Awake, awake to its fairy ring. Hark, let's respond to the call of spring. What is more fragrant among all things than the smell of trees in the early spring? Ah, merrily pipes the bluebird, happy troubadour of spring. The little lambs, they frisk and play. Here's to springtime any day.
Spring, spring, spring. Wonderful.
A big fat one! Will not!
You need money for the meter, money for the toll. Don't turn on the heater, daddy's on the door. They tell me that the devil pays good money for your soul. We don't got no dough. Tell me there's $1 in the pocket of your jeans. Need money for the baby, the bacon and the beans. I'd buy you a dozen roses, but I just don't have the means. Don't got no dough. Sorry, Mr. Landlord, I cannot pay the rent. Run down to the bank and ask them where my money went. Then come back and tell me just who overspent. Mister, let me tell you, I blame the government.